Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm back with another speed draw, and this time I'm drawing Heng and Lu, characters from the mobile game Dislyte. I started off with a thumbnail sketch to figure out how I want the layout of this composition to be, and I'm going over that right now with this red for a more detailed sketch of the characters and some of the other elements. If you haven't guessed by now, this is a birthday themed piece, and this drawing is specifically for the September birthday fan art event. Since I chose two characters, I positioned them in opposite corners and used the extra space for other birthday themed elements to interact with the characters in some way, like a birthday cake and a gift from somebody off camera. I actually chose these two characters for a kind of funny reason, or at least I find it kind of funny. I mean, other than the fact that I enjoy playing with these characters and I use them pretty often and I like their designs, I chose them because of who they are based on. So, Dislyte characters are based off of gods or characters from various mythologies, and these two, Heng and Lu, are based on Chang'e and Hou from Chinese myth. And according to the myth, they were married to each other. But the funny thing is that in Dislyte canon, these characters have almost nothing to do with each other and have not ever interacted or even met in the game canon. Except for in this one official art where they are vaguely in the same vicinity of each other. But I have seen other fans and artists ship them, so I guess I'm not alone. But Dislyte tends to do that sometimes, like characters are based on gods that are closely related, but the in-game storylines never cross. Also, another fun fact, I guess. Dislyte takes place around 2027, so all of their ages that are listed on their in-game character profiles are according to that timeline, which means in 2024, Heng is turning 20, which is kind of wild to me because that means she's actually younger than me. Anyway, fun stuff, but back to the art. As you can see, I'm doing the line art part of the process now, and you'll see, or you already have seen, that I make a couple of changes here in this part of the process. Like I added an extra candle sparkler to the cake, and I changed the bow here. I tried a different design at first, but ultimately I just decided to make it a couple more stars instead. Speaking of bows though, I am quite proud of the bow that I drew on the actual gift box, so yay me. And I also add in their names and their actual birth dates to the composition now, because I forgot to do that in the second sketch, but you can sort of see it in the blue thumbnail sketch layer, which is what I'm going off of here. Now for the next part of the process, which is color. I start by going in and using the lasso tool and selecting all of the areas that I want to be colored in, and I fill it out so I have a sort of one color base. I kind of picked a weird background color to start with, but I'll be changing that later, so it's fine. I continue to use this lasso method when I'm putting down the final colors. So this is my first video in quite a while, and I am trying something a little bit different. If you've seen my last two videos, I only included captions as my way of talking in the video. Kind of realized that doesn't really make a lot of sense if I want people to watch the video but also read the captions. So starting from now, I am going to try and do voiceovers for my videos instead, and I'm trying to get over the awkward recording myself phase, and hopefully I'll also be able to post more often. Now, I'm coloring in Louis's mask that he wears, but the thing is, I didn't really draw it exactly as it is in the game, and I sort of just did my own simplified version, which is just making things more difficult for me because it was kind of hard to color without knowing exactly which parts should be which color, but I did what I could. His arm tattoo is also a couple of scribbles, but it's fine. I color in the cake that he's eating when I do the rest of it later because I couldn't really decide what color I should make it yet. So I start with Heng now, with the same process, picking a base color, which I normally make the skin color. When I was doing this, I noticed they actually kind of have similar hair colors and even like some similarities in the color palette. But their hair is that whitish blonde that transitions into the secondary color in some areas of their hair, gray for Lu Yi and green for Heng. I don't know if that's intentional in their design, and I know I mentioned that they've never had in-game interactions before, but I do wonder if the designers for these characters included things like this on purpose as a sort of way to draw connections between them. So for the characters, I'm obviously working from reference. I'm going back and forth between the drawing and a reference image, which makes it easier for me to decide the overall color scheme. And it's also good that these characters don't have clashing color palettes. But for the gift box and the cake, I kind of struggled a little bit in choosing the right colors that both match with the characters but also have enough contrast for them. And I think this is where I basically decide the background color that I've chosen is not going to stay, because when I start the cake, I end up making the cake the same exact color as the background I have now. And I should have changed the background color to something else first before I started working on the cake, because I couldn't even tell if I was coloring inside the lines or not. And I add a light yellow frosting on the cake. I hope it looks tasty at least. Now I start trying to change up the background colors. I tried pink at first, but I think it looked too lovey or coupley. Even though I said I shipped these two, it wasn't the vibe I was going for here. So I end up making each of the comic panels a different color, and I put this pinkish filter over everything to make it look a little bit more cohesive. I find that generally helps a lot when you're using a lot of different colors. And so here is the final image, the final product. And I hope you guys liked watching me work on this, and if you want to see more of my work, I am at KaylinVerse everywhere. I'm mostly active on Instagram, but sometimes I'll post on Twitter as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.